We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and our Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And that's Rob.
It's episode 119 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, our producer and timekeeper. He's not special timekeeper anymore. We discussed that last week. He's just a timekeeper.
Yes.
Flores. Nice little intro we had there. Someone forgot their spot, but it's fine. It is what it is. We got through it. You know.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you call in the ring. You know, sometimes someone goes up to the top rope and they stumble a little bit.
Stumble sometimes, definitely. Some unfortunate news we had yesterday, yesterday morning.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up right now. Of course, the legendary Pat Patterson, WWE Hall of Famer, the first ever Intercontinental Champion, the man behind the Royal Rumble match, and the first openly gay wrestler of his generation, ended up passing away yesterday at the age of 79 years old. Of course, for several years, he was basically Mr. McMahon's right-hand man, kind of being there, being a mentor to a lot of individuals. Several people like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Lance Storm, Triple H, The Rock himself. Everyone acknowledged how he basically influenced and mentored them, giving them advice about their matches and, telling them great stories. I know he did a lot of karaoke, and they were sharing some karaoke stories as well, which is nice. But yeah, he seemed to be a very well-respected and loved individual. Any thoughts? Any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I definitely do have a lot of thoughts. Obviously, the first Intercontinental Champion, which was one of my favorite titles since I started watching wrestling, especially because Bret Hart was the Intercontinental Champion. Anyways, he's also I don't know if you mentioned it, but he's also been tabbed as the one who created the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Yeah. You did, okay. I think that started in '89. The Royal Rumble concept. I don't know about the Battle Royal concept has probably been longer than that. But the actual, having an event, what it meant. Obviously, it didn't hold that prize of the WrestleMania main event like it did. I think that came around like the second or third WrestleMania. But I think it was like 1989 that Royal Rumble came about. And it's just one of those ideas that you kind of throw out there to Vince and company, and it sticks around for, over 30 years now.
Yeah.
Close to 30 years.
There was a video that went around. I think WWE Network posted it on Twitter where he was talking about the concept. He was in a meeting with Vince and Dick Ebersol, who was the president of NBC at the time, or, running NBC.
Yeah.
And he brought up the Royal Rumble concept, and it was Dick Ebersol that I guess wanted, because Vince was against the idea. He thought it was, not fitting with the traditional wrestling style. But Ebersol thought it would be great for television, having the wrestlers come out during the match and everything. They have a run-in. So, that was an innovation over 30 years in the making. So,
and that had to have been probably like an idea for Saturday's main event at the time, which is kind of what Ebersol and Vince were usually talking about at the time. That was kind of the main programming, if I'm not mistaken. But into one of the top big four pay-per-views and hold significant. Be that one of those few matches where you know star can easily be born from the match. You know, storylines are made from that, and that was something that Pat Patterson, obviously, like you mentioned, had a hand in, is the booking and the way things are presented. I think he was the Austin Brett submission match his, I think.
I'm not sure, but I did see that he was considered like one of the best.
Considered one of the best, and a lot of people's favorite matches were probably had some sort of influence, or had Pat Patterson. His hands were all over the way those stories came about. So obviously wasn't as involved the last few years as he was in the past, but still his influence and everything that he brought to the company will be missed. He's one of those kind of pillars and cornerstones that has now gone from not only WWE but the wrestling community itself. And for me, just sharing some memories of him. It was funny because I was talking about his career and the things that he did before I was even born, and grew up in the Attitude Era. He was just someone who was a stooge for Vince McMahon, and I really didn't even know. He was kind of in that comedy spot, but yeah, him and Gerald Briscoe and the things they were doing with Moolah and Mae Young, those were some classic moments, and so yeah, I mean, a lot of what I knew him for was what he did out in the ring in those comedy haha spots, but he did a lot behind the scenes that many of us probably don't even know about or realize how big of an impact that he had. So yeah, definitely will be missed, and it's just crazy to see another one of those again, just those pillars or those people who are always there gone. I mean, like I mentioned, Moolah, Mae Young have passed away in recent years. Now Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe is still hanging in there, and I think still working as a scout for the company. I'm not entirely sure, but Gerald Briscoe's brother had passed away not a few years ago now, and then you see the way Vince is looking now. Not that means anything, but we're all getting a little bit older.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on. You can follow us on social media because we got to promote our social media, of course. You can follow me at EthanNB95 on Twitter, and you can follow the program at RealBTR Radio on Twitter and Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, where we have various episodes that Rob uploads there, as well as YouTube.com. Just search up Beyond the Ropes, and you'll find over 100 episodes currently uploaded. You can follow James at
JHW Reporter on Twitter and on Instagram.
And you can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media.
Sweet. Now that we got through that, I guess some big news happened last month, right? I guess.
A little something.
AEW. We don't talk too much about AEW because we don't keep up with it as much. I have caught up to it. I think I'm just behind on yesterday's episode, but a big show it was. Could say the least. I believe they crowned a new champion.
Yeah, just a champion. Yeah, they got a new guy. What was that? Their third champion.
It's
Jericho, John Moxley.
Mm-hmm. And so they crowned their only third champion in their last year and a half of, or almost, I guess now almost 2 years of existence, because they came about in January. So, and then there was a debut. James, you want to talk about this debut here?
So yeah, a debut. Actually, I'm just now thinking about this, and I'll mention in a minute. But yeah, so Sting is now
All
in
of it.
AEW,
Sting
or he's all in. Yeah, that's what they say. He's all in or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think I'd heard something about this like a few weeks ago. Like it might be a thing, but I'm like, there's no way. It's still kind of odd. It's odd. I mean, so anyways, first of all, I think it was the first time. I think Tony Schiavone said 20. That's right. It's been at least I want to at least say 15 years since Sting has been on TNT
It was since
programming. What was that? Well, it was like 2001, right?
that was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, we're getting old.
You're getting
Yeah.
old.
Jeez. I remember that. I watched it live. I saw that. So yeah, so to see Sting, I mean, back on TNT programming, and this is only a few weeks removed from having Eric Bischoff, the first time in a long time too. So yeah, it's just weird because Sting was just in the Hall of Fame. Was he in this last class or the class before?
It was a couple of years ago.
It was with whatever happened with this past WrestleMania, but yeah, I mean Sting, I guess, was no longer under contract. I think we had to have talked about that before, but what's gonna do with him if he's gonna get in the ring or not? I thought Sting was done. I guess all those videos and things on the network about Sting were just them saying Sting was done in WWE, even though he never really got started in WWE. May have had like a run or two with Seth Rollins or whatever. He tried chasing the title for a little bit, but no one, I don't think, really ever thought he was going to win it. Or did he win it?
No.
He didn't win it, right? He didn't. No, because he had 2 or 3 matches and he lost like every match in WWE. He never got a victory, right?
He won, I think, a match on Raw against the Big Show.
That's random.
He got hurt. That's when he almost got paralyzed, and that's when
Right.
he was forced to retire.
Right.
I don't know what the situation is now.
I mean, the thing is they. Sorry to cut you off, but I just to what you just said there. I mean, if he's retired, if he's not retired, but what are they going to do with him? Are they going to, he had the face off with Cody Rhodes, some of the other guys in the ring. I know Arn Anderson, Dustin Rhodes was there, but I mean, is he going to wrestle or is he going to be some sort of figure much like Arn Anderson is? And if so, do we just need a bunch of WCW guys that are just managers? I don't really think so. I don't know. Curious to see where they go with this. I'm kind of curious on what AEW is just doing. I mean, again, they're just bringing in a lot of guys, and they don't need to be bringing in as many of these guys as they are. Build the stars that you got.
So
or make stars out of the guys that you have.
yeah. So rumor is he may play a mentor to Darby Allin,
Right? Who had the
who has kind of a similar, I guess, gimmick as Sting had in kind of the Crow days.
And they played off of that with the face paint too, right? Because you kind of see the way he looked at him, and I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, so there was that. Apparently, AEW also now has a partnership with TNA, with Impact,
right?
Which they already had a deal, I guess, partnership with NWA. So they're just trying to work with everyone, I guess.
So the NWA had a partnership. Well, NWA does have a partnership with AEW, and NWA, I think, was appearing on AEW more than the AEW Women's Champion at some point, right? So
yeah. So yeah, pretty much.
So, but go ahead.
It's pretty much they're working with everyone. I think next Tuesday, which is Impact, there might be something happening there. We may see some Impact stars maybe on AEW next week. You mentioned that they should stop bringing in people, and I agree because they have a lot of people, and there's a lot of people that aren't even getting on TV. I know they have their YouTube show, Dark, which is kind of like their main event in a sense.
Right.
But
I've never once gone to let me look at You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's pretty overblown. And you mentioned, I mean, they brought in Sting. He's what, 60,
right.
61?
And how much money did they have to give him just to
It,
get him? You know what I mean?
yeah, you keep phasing in and out, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying there. Yeah, I think it's a bit much. They're treading very WWE waters when it comes to
Yeah.
this, bringing in a bunch of older guys to try and boost those ratings and compete with other companies, specifically WWE, of course, because they're working with everyone else at this point.
And yeah, and go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I like you mentioned there, we're heading up here on a commercial break, but you mentioned ratings. We'll get into the ratings a little bit based on last week's show. The show prior to Thanksgiving. But yeah, I when we come back to, let's talk about Kenny Omega a little bit and the way this Impact thing was teased, and with Don Callis being there, and how we're gonna end up watching Impact again now. I think that's what's happening.
I've been watching Impact. I've been watching it. It's been all right.
Like we watch. My dad watches like all the wrestling. It's part of his lineup throughout the week. So we get Impact is on in the house. Raw's on. NXT is on. SmackDown is. They're all on. So I'm catching still just kind of like we really got to watch it now. Like it's not just on in passing. It's like an actual thing where it's like Kenny Omega it sounds like he's going to show up on a Tuesday on Impact.
Mm-hmm. And I can't wait for to hear Jim Cornette's episode on the experience. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I want to hear his thoughts about Sting showing up.
There should be something today.
He said Saturday. He tweeted about it on Saturday. So
Okay.
Yeah, he's got stuff going on. He tweeted about. But anyways, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk about. You mentioned the ratings. We'll talk about Twinkle Toes, Kenny Omega, and we'll talk about Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving passed. We got to talk about the major story coming out of Thanksgiving. All that and more right here on Beyond the Ropes.
Cool.
And we're back. Oh shoot! Restart. Cancel.
What do you do?
I forgot to do the. I have to do the. We are 22S radio thing. Ready? We are 22S radio. 22S radio is 22smedia.com and 8.1 FM KKJZ HD Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back. This is episode 119 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, on the controls, our producer and our timekeeper, our special, Rob Flores. You can follow me on Twitter at EthanMV95. You can follow James at
JHW Reporter.
And you can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media.
Of course, Real BTR Radio and Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. Before the break, we were talking about ratings because AEW and NXT are having this war. That people made. A lot of people made up. That's, whatever. They're getting the same ratings every week.
Yeah. I feel like the only two people who are really invested in this whole thing are, I think, Brian Alvarez on Twitter, who tweets out the ratings, and Chris Jericho. As far as I know, he seems to be the only one with comments on it. Other than that, though, based on what I was able to find, it looked like it was actually a win with that the day before Thanksgiving show. It was on that Wednesday. NXT was 712,000 viewers to AEW's 710,000 viewers. There, I guess, was an update from Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, who said it was actually AEW actually ended up with a 712 as well, which would have made it an even tie. I don't know.
It's It's always
I mean, that's 2,000 people, 2,000 TVs, however you want to put it. I guess whatever, if that's what it is. But from what I've been hearing prior, on the AEW side mostly, is that they're the ones. Obviously, you know, the AEW continued once again to win the demo, even though they didn't win the overall rating, or you know, prior to whatever this update was. Anyways, it was 2,000 viewers that apparently made the difference on the day before Thanksgiving. But I'm curious to see where the ratings will go this week. Based on, you know, just kind of what AEW brought to the table with Sting and a new world champion on the AEW side with Kenny Omega, I would have to think that they're going to win the ratings this week. But you never know. You know, I know Ethan's favorites, that he's going to be getting up pretty shortly. The Undisputed Era made their return as well, which I'm sure started you know, the holiday season off right for young Ethan over there.
You know, the holidays came around, and of course, you know, we talk about NXT. I've been switching out the backgrounds here if you're watching on YouTube. But of course, we have to talk about Thanksgiving.
Yes.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you was going to happen on Thanksgiving, James?
But bless your soul, Ethan, leaving a spot open at the head of the table. He has a photo to prove it on his Twitter. For Roman Reigns, what is it? Your tribal chief, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not claiming him as mine.
It could be our tribal chief. Look, here's a picture. It's a side view. If you were watching right there, if you were watching on the YouTube,
It's upside down, sideways, okay, but I see it.
That's the way it's because it's vertical photo. So
because it's a big chair for.
It's a big chair.
It's a throne.
Basically, so you know, it's a little sideways, but it's there. There's a spot at the head of the table. Mm-hmm. My chief, Roman Reigns. But he wasn't happy. Apparently, he wasn't happy about it on Friday Night SmackDown. He wasn't happy with Jey Uso, despite Jey helping him win that Survivor Series match.
So that's what we did. That's what we talked about. Did Roman know? Was he aware? Was he happy? Was he satisfied with Jey Uso's interference? And I think we did get our answer, apparently.
He wasn't happy. He told Jey to leave. And you know, that wasn't what it was. You know, Jey stuck around. I'm trying to get rid of this background here. There we go. And so he wasn't happy that he didn't follow directions, and it ultimately led to Jey Uso having a bit of a breaking point. Mm-hmm. On SmackDown, taking out his aggression on Otis, beating him with a chair. And then he took out his aggression on Daniel Bryan. And it led to a confrontation and a match between Kevin Owens and Jey Uso. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Owens disrespecting the family of Roman Reigns by taking it out on Jey Uso and sitting at the head of the announce table, I guess. I guess that's going to be Roman's next opponent there, Kevin Owens.
I mean, did he not look into the camera? At least I saw it at least once where he looked into the camera and told Roman he was not scared of him. Roman was very upset.
He should be scared of him.
But he's not.
Well, I mean, Kevin Owens is making a mistake. I'm just going to say that. You know.
Okay.
He made a mistake messing with Seth Rollins earlier in the year, or Messiah, who was absent last week, but for the greater good, I think he's going to stay home for a while. It's for the greater good. There's a big purpose. I know you're going to miss him on TV, James.
Yeah, I guess. No, I mean, Seth's great and all, but, you know, babies come first.
Of course. But yeah, so SmackDown, we got ourselves a new contender for the Universal Championship, it appears. And yeah, so I know you wanted to talk about Impact. I want to talk about Impact Wrestling now that it's going to be a big deal, I guess, since we have Jim Cornette's favorite wrestler, Kenny Olivier, right? Is that he calls him that?
I believe that is what he calls him. But I mean, I'm just, you know, it really is the impact that Impact and AEW will have. I mean, they're, you know,
they're not gonna have an impact. I want to tell.
You don't think there's going to be any impact?
No Impact on Impact or AEW Dynamite. No Dynamite, no Impact.
AEW. I mean, if anything, AEW would be helping Impact, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you're taking that Tuesday time slot. I mean, you're getting that Tuesday time slot by doing the Impact thing. Having Don Callis there, I mean, did you know about this prior to Don Callis? Did Don Callis just show up? I mean, I know he didn't just show up, but he said Kenny Omega wanted him there. I know Kenny and Don Callis, their history and the things that Don Callis explained during the match between Kenny Omega and John Moxley. I had heard that before. They do have a close relationship, so I was not surprised at what Don Callis was saying, but I was surprised Don Callis was out there. And that they mentioned Impact at all. Like I don't know what to think of. I don't know where they go. I don't know if, again, we talked about it. AEW has people on their roster that they don't use or that we don't see on the TV side of we see them on YouTube, whatever. But how are you going to fit these Impact guys in on a AEW show? Obviously, you're going to be more than happy to have some of those AEW guys over on Impact. Again, based on what Don Callis said, it sounds like Kenny Omega and the AEW Championship are going to be on Impact on Tuesday.
I mean, if anything, it'll help Impact for a week, maybe.
I mean, it's getting a bump. Yeah, it has to. I mean, assuming people have the channel. I don't know if people have the Access channel, AXS channel. I don't know if they know where to find it, but they'll have to.
I think they're also on Twitch. So
they might be. Yeah, are they still doing the Twitch thing? Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
So I would say it might help them out for a week or two, but if it's going to be an appearance here and there, it's not going to have an effect on them. AEW's too. I mean, there are some good wrestlers on Impact. There's some really good ones, but I mean, I don't see anything major happening. Now, if we see New Japan, maybe perhaps, as that was kind of rumored, potentially between AEW and New Japan, but yeah, I don't see this partnership really working out in the long term, really helping out the ratings and anything.
I think the thing for me is it's just like, what does it say? Because I thought AEW was kind of priding itself on, let alone them having some WWE guys, but priding themselves on being this, this up off the ground, just we're going to use our own talent kind of deal show, to where it's kind of like they're doing the partnership with NWA. They're doing a partnership with Impact. Are we just aiming to combine all the shows here? And I thought you were ribbing when you tweet about WCW. Is that a joke or not?
See that?
I thought it was a joke, but then I think even not Dave Meltzer, one of the reporters or one of the wrestling journalists or whatever had said, or someone said Sting wasn't going to be on. I guess Sting's not going to be part of the new WCW. Apparently not if he's on AEW. But
I don't know what the new WCW thing is about. It just popped up on social media last week, saying someone got some of the rights to some of the show names.
How would they have given? How would WWE have given up on the rights though? I mean, and two, maybe does that speak into what like AEW was even able to do, because they got Bash at the Beach? Did WWE not bother to do anything with that? Or maybe they just got the library and those names, but they didn't copyright the names or something. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know how WWE could have missed on that if that's the case.
I think so. There was this press release of this, I guess, the supposed owner of this new WCW 2021 or whatever, where he said that they were able to get half of like the WCW names or whatever. Obviously, WWE still owns like the major one. I think Halloween Havoc and they said they made an announcement. Their first pay-per-view was going to be WCW Greed, which was
Which
Like,
was like the one pay-per-view that I don't remember, which was like
it was the last pay.
last year, right? Yeah.
It was the very last pay-per-view, I think. Which this can't be real. This cannot be real. Like, there's not really a W in 2020.
I just think if this is 2020, 2021 when this is supposed to happen, I just don't see like why if you're starting a wrestling company are you trying to make WCW? Like make up another name. Don't be like you're boxing yourself into this corner from the jump by trying to play out the history and the legacy or whatever of WCW. I mean, does this guy have the money? Is he going to try and bring Eric Bischoff in? Is he going to try and bring Hogan in? What are you doing with WCW other than being called WCW? And also, you know, we saw what the NWA is doing, has done. I mean, that has just as much legacy, if not is what WCW was or comes from. But I mean, they're not any they're not, you know, they're not, what are they? Are they just on YouTube? They're not on a channel at all. So
And
what are they trying to accomplish with this WCW thing?
pandemic has definitely hurt NWA because they've lost a few of their talents. I know contracts are coming up as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously they have that partnership with AEW, but that's their, I mean, we're not going to see AEW stars weekly there when they're able to continue with programming and all that. The only thing I could think of if you're going to bring back WCW is just for the name value. They don't have the tape library.
But how much? Right.
They don't have any of the major shows like Halloween Havoc and Starrcade and whatever.
Jamboree, War Games, World War III or whatever it was, and
so it's like
Starrcade.
All the talents in WWE and AEW at this point, and New Japan, like, where are they going to get the talent from? I mean, there's always new people training and new.
Oh, of course.
But it's like you need stars to pick it up. I mean, really, if you want to start anywhere.
Yeah, I just don't know what are. We'll have to look it up. We're gonna have to look into this. I gotta find out more about this owner. I'm just not.
I don't think it's gonna really happen. I think it's a hoax.
I guess. I mean, yeah, it could. It easily could be. I mean, we're probably giving it more time than it deserves. I mean, especially at this stage of whatever it may be. But I just don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I really don't.
Plus, we already have WCW on Wednesday nights. It's called AEW. So, I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got Chris Jericho, Arn Anderson, Sting, and whoever else. I mean, might as well be. Eric Bischoff with a few appearances.
They're Tony Schiavone on TV every week.
Tony Schiavone and JR, yeah.
I mean, they're booking it very much like Dusty did in WCW. So, All right, moving on from all that, we got a few minutes left to discuss. This weekend we have War Games, NXT Takeover War Games. It's been an interesting build. They're going through with War Games despite not having much of an audience, much of a crowd. I'm going to assume this is taking place at the Thunderdome, potentially because they need the space because they've been shooting NXT at the Capitol Wrestling Center, which is basically the performance center. And they obviously can't fit a whole double cage and double ring in there, I wouldn't imagine. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to do that in front of maybe a small crowd of NXT fans, because they've had NXT fans for a little bit now,
right.
A small little bunch. So I would imagine they might have some fans there. It'll be interesting. We have 2 War Games matches, a men's and a women's War Games match. I believe we have a strap match. We have a triple threat match for the North American Championship. And I know we have another singles match to get through. So I'm going to announce the matches right now, and then when we return from break, I guess we could give our predictions for that. All right?
Sounds good.
All right, so for the North American Championship, it is a triple threat match. Recently new champion, Leon Ruff will take on Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest in a triple threat match. Next up, we have Tommaso Ciampa taking on Timothy Thatcher in a singles match. Then we have do we have a tag team match? I'm blanking. No. We'll do the Women's War Games match. We have Team Shotzi versus Team Dakota. No, Team Candice LeRae. Apologize. And so it's Team Shotzi Blackheart, the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley, and Ember Moon taking on Team Candice, which is Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. And of course, we have the Men's War Games match, which is the Undisputed Era taking on Pat McAfee's team of Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan. So that's going to be the card. No NXT title match, but think about it, and then we'll come back. When we return, we're going to give our predictions and discuss more pro wrestling right here on Beyond the Ropes.
Okay.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and of course, the producer, Rob Flores. You can follow me on Twitter at EthanMB95. You can follow James at
JHW Reporter.
And you can follow Rob at
Rob Flores Media.
And you can follow BTR at Real BTR Radio on Twitter and Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. And on YouTube, just search up Beyond the Ropes and you'll find all 118 episodes currently uploaded there. Before the break, we were talking about NXT TakeOver War Games. This is I think their fourth War Games event since it's been reimagined and made its way to NXT. Of course, we have to get through some of these matches and give our predictions. I haven't been caught up to NXT yet. I'm 2 weeks behind, which is a rarity because I'm always watching live. But, the holidays are here and they got me working. They got me working away, James. I know.
Because you're saving up your money to get me a big Christmas gift.
You know what? My work does have something I think you might like.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Have you been naughty or nice this year, James? I don't know.
And I've been wearing my mask, so I'd say I've been good.
That's good. All right. Let's get to some NXT War Games predictions. Starting off with the singles match between Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. This match is sure to be a hard-hitting match. I guess we'll go around the circle. Rob, let's start with you. Timothy Thatcher or Tommaso Ciampa?
Ciampa.
Okay. And James?
I'll go with Ciampa as well.
I can't bet against Ciampa, I guess. He's always a reliable pick here. Although Thatcher hasn't had a great takeover record, so I'll stick with Ciampa, though. A match that I did forget to promote before the break, but we'll mention it here, a strap match between Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes. James, who do you have here?
Cameron Grimes and Dexter, they're still going, huh? I'll go with Cameron Grimes. Why not?
Yeah, they had a famous haunted house. I forgot what the match was called at Halloween Havoc. Rob, who do you have here?
Same.
Cameron Grimes. We all just are going to agree this entire show because I think I'm going to have to go with Grimes as well. He's kind of been getting the short.
Are we on the Grimes bandwagon here? Is that what's going on?
I just feel like he's been on the short end of the stick and he lost to Halloween Havoc, so he needs to pick up a victory here.
Right.
I think it just makes sense for him. It's a strap match, so maybe he could win somehow without. Because Lumis is built pretty strong, so he could probably sneak in a victory here. Next up, a triple threat match for the NXT North American Championship. The champion, Leon Ruff, defends against Johnny Gargano and Damian Priest. Rob, who do you have here?
Priest.
Damian Priest would be picking up the title for a second time. James, who do you have here?
I think they'll give it to Ruff. Yeah, I just think they'll go with Ruff on this one.
I'm gonna have to go with Priest as well. Priest.
No one going for Johnny. I was thinking about Johnny, but
well,
what would putting another title do for him? You know, they can always have him as someone who can go for that NXT title at any moment. So I think you want to kind of keep him free in case you need him.
Yeah, I'll go with Priest here. War Games match. The women's War Games match. Team Shotzi versus Team Candice, of course. Team Shotzi is comprised of Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai, taking on Team Candice, comprised of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. Now, I do know this week that Shotzi did end up winning the ladder match, which gave them the advantage to have that first member come out of the cage, kind of, and give them a leg up here. So there's that to think about. Who do you have here, Rob?
Usually when they have an advantage, it turns out they're actually the ones that lose.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
So I'm going to go with that.
You're going to go with Team Candice then. All
Yeah.
right. And James, who do you have here?
I am not going against Rhea Ripley. So I will go with Team Chauncey on this one.
This is a tough one, but yeah, the star power in Team Shotzi, you have the NXT Women's Champion. You have Shotzi Blackheart, who's been, being built up for a while. Ember Moon, who recently made a return to NXT. And let's see, Rhea Ripley. You mentioned Rhea Ripley. I mean, come on. I would go Team Shotzi here as well.
I think I think it's nice to see Ember Moon back because you see her on the up, down, down stuff. I saw her on Twitter still. She was still with the company. And I was just sitting here wondering, when is she ever going to come back? Is she ever going to get back into it? I didn't know if she was injured, if there was something that might be keeping her out of the ring. So I was happy to see her kind of back in the ring and getting it going again. So happy to see her back for sure. I know it's been a few weeks since she's been back, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And finally, the men's War Games match between the Undisputed Era and the team of Pat McAfee and his group. Of course, the Undisputed Era is comprised of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Bobby Fish, taking on Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oni Lorcan, who are the NXT Tag Team Champions. James, who do you have here?
I kind of want to go with the Undisputed Era. I think I will go with the Undisputed Era because they've been out for a while, right? Yeah, they made their return last week, right? So they've been kind of on the short end throughout this feud. I guess I'll go with the Undisputed Era.
They did lose as well, so there's that. Rob, who do you have here?
The other team.
You got McAfee's team. Okay. And I'm going to go with this is a tough one. I'm not going to lie. This is a tough one. But,
really?
I've got to go.
Oh, so tough.
with the team that has been the front and center of NXT the last 3 years. Of course, I'm talking about Adam Cole, who's over here. Right here for me. I don't know where he's at for you guys, but he's right here for me. We've got that's the same one right here. Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. Can you see my finger over here? Right there. Right there. And then it's gonna look crazy if there was nothing here in the background of me just pointing everywhere.
Yeah, you look a little crazy.
There's a little cool Kyle right there. So those are my guys.
So how do you think it's gonna play out? Who do you think are gonna? What is it? Everyone's in the ring. It's not elimination, so everyone can be in the ring before pinfall is given. How do you think it's gonna play out? I would assume there's gonna be some color in this match. I would think, just because it's War Games, so
It hasn't been color in the past, so
yeah. But if there will be, trust me.
I don't think there will be. It's not blooding. It's not AEW blood and guts, all right?
There will be. There will be. There has to be.
It's gonna be Adam Cole starting because, of course, he starts. Although Kyle could start.
Hasn't he been kind of the main focus of this?
Well, he got the little push, the singles push against Finn, the title for a bit. So yeah, I mean, he could potentially start.
I mean, because I'm just thinking, weren't the other guys out and he was on his own for
It was like
some time. I don't.
he was like for a week or two. Yeah, he was there by himself basically. But
You know what would be huge?
Hmm?
You know what would be huge?
What?
Someone gets kicked out of Undisputed Era this weekend.
Don't put that.
Someone turned on the Undisputed Era, and who's to say it can't be Riley?
Don't put that out there because I saw that going around too. I saw someone tweet it. I didn't see it going around, but I saw someone post it. I was like, don't put that out there. They're United Front. They just got a hoodie. They gotta sell that hoodie, all right? I gotta buy that hoodie, by the way. I get paid tomorrow, so. Anyways.
Well, you better buy it because it might not be in there very long.
Sir. I mean, you're
saying.
gonna stay at the store. That's what's gonna happen, James. No, they can't split up. I won't allow it. I won't allow it.
All right. We'll see.
That's NXT TakeOver War Games. All right, we got a few minutes left, right, Rob? Right? Yeah, Mr. Timekeeper, how much time do we have?
8.
8 whole minutes. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw and the new number one contender for the WWE Championship. I'm talking about the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. I'm not talking about Hornswoggle, by the way, who cosplayed as AJ Styles in Impact last week. I mean, that may be...
What is Big Dude's name again?
Almost.
That's right. Because my brother was telling me that because I was looking at my phone and he says, this guy's name is Almost. And I looked up and I didn't see it on the screen on time. And I'm like, that's his name, huh? I don't know. Interesting. It's just an interesting name. I don't know. Just thought it was worth bringing up.
It was Jordan in Raw Underground, and he was security guard.
His interaction with Riddle's been kind of weird too, but.
Oh, it's been great. Riddle's been the highlight of backstage segments the last couple of weeks. MVP, him and MVP, him and walking around talking to Keith Lee and good stuff. Riddle's been pretty much these good moments.
I saw when Bobby Lashley he beat down on Riddle there in the backstage area after that match. So
he's asking to lose the United States Championship to Riddle. That's what he's asking for.
Do we really want that though?
I like Riddle. I think I'm fine with that. Lashley hasn't done anything with the title. What has he done?
I think, I think the Hurt Business has been one of the better. I mean, they look unified. They look, I don't know. There's something about them. Are any of those guys gonna get the world title? I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm waiting to see if they're gonna put the tag titles on Cedric and Shelton, but I don't think we're getting that. So
the Hurt Business has been definitely one of the highlights of the year, especially during pandemic time. With that being said, they've lost a little steam. I think they've just fallen a bit. Obviously, they didn't capitalize on those tag team titles, as you mentioned. And they probably doesn't look like they're going to capitalize because it already makes it look like they're going to kick Cedric out potentially for over celebrating his victory this past Monday.
Okay.
And then, again, Lashley, I don't know what they're doing with him, but I guess he's going to feud with Riddle now, which should be good. I mean, Riddle and Sheamus have had a number of good matches recently. And Lashley's good. He can work with anyone as well. So that should be interesting. AJ Styles. Let's talk about AJ Styles. Got a little off topic talking about a big almost there. But AJ is now the contender facing the WWE champion, Drew McIntyre, at TLC. McIntyre's retaining, right? No.
He better. I mean, but he's lost 2 in a row, right? So I don't know. We'll see what happens with the bodyguard, where he fits in with all that. But yeah, Drew McIntyre has to win. What is he? He's lost the last 2, maybe the last. Yeah, he's lost at least 2. He lost the one to Randy, and then he lost to Roman.
Nothing to be embarrassed about, by the way. Losing to Roman.
Nothing to be embarrassed about. That's for sure. I'm not. If there's guys you're gonna lose to, those are guys you should lose to. But
especially Roman Reigns, because he's a tribal chief,
Right. I mean, he can't lose again. He has to win. I mean,
he has to win. He has to.
Yeah.
Rob.
He has to win, but who knows?
Rob, you were not shaking your head.
Well, you never know. Maybe AJ can have a new faction.
We had that for a minute, and WWE did.
And all the guys are out of the company.
And I'm like, well, that's happening is now with Impact working with AEW. So, I don't know. So, we'll see. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it's I don't know if they're interested in doing another Bullet Club type situation there. And if you're gonna do it, you should really be doing it with him, because his stuff in NXT is great. Just put him with the Undisputed Era. Those 5 guys, boom. That's all you need. Go ahead.
Some others, another group, we talked about the Hurt Business a little bit, but another group who I think appears to be losing some stock is Retribution, because they had Mia Yim make her debut on Raw against Dana Brooke, and she lost.
That's Reckoning. I don't know who Mia Yim is. She does not exist. That's Reckoning, James.
Reckoning, Mia Yim.
Well, Ali
okay. Was it not weird that she had the mask off?
It fell off, yeah. I mean, that wasn't intentional, though. Come on, that was an accident. No, they did acknowledge that Ali did rename them and give them masks on purpose.
Okay, so the mask came out. It was an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. It wasn't.
Okay, I don't think I saw that part.
It did fall off. It was, yeah.
It had to have been very early in the match then, because
it fell off right away.
Yeah.
So, Ali did give her the business. Slapjack did win his match, though. Good for Slapjack.
Well, I mean, I guess he deserves a win if he keeps his mask on.
With the Jason Voorhees mask, yeah.
I mean, they got to do something with their mask. I mean, she just has almost like a normal. No, she has like a whole mask. Yeah, a regular mask, I guess.
He has one of the normal masks that we wear out in public.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm looking at it here. I mean, compared to all the other guys, they have their head, it goes over their head. So it's almost, it's if Ali wasn't wearing a mask, and then it would have really, if Ali was wearing a mask and everyone else had a mask, then it would have been weird. But I think it kind of works, especially because she's the one female in the group. Because Ali already has his mask off. I think it kind of works. It's kind of okay. I think it'd almost be kind of hard for them to go back to her with the mask when she's in the ring.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. Of course, Ali did give her some words after the match, so we'll see where it goes.
Too early to kick her out?
If they're gonna do something better with her, no.
I mean, the thing for me is yeah, what angles are you going to be doing with her? You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing for me.
All right. Well, Mr. Timekeeper over here is giving us a little update here that we gotta wrap it up. But we got a few more weeks left in the year, and I've been compiling a list of kind of 10 best of variety of things.
Uh-huh.
So I think for the remainder of the year, yes, we'll keep up with updates and everything going on. But I think we'll be doing some countdowns for sure. So I'll send you guys those lists and everything, and we'll work that out. But until next time, what is look? They're a united front.
A
Rock.
new undisputed era this week. Stay tuned, everybody. We will find out and let you know how it goes. Until then, this episode has been
Undisputed era forever.
no too sweet, is what we say. That's the bye, everybody.